The biggest myth about fasting after 40. Last month, a man named Robert pulled me aside after a health seminar. He's 62 years old, retired, and still working part-time just to stay active. He leaned in close, lowered his voice, and said, "Doc, I'm doing everything the magazines tell me. Small meals 6 times a day, protein bars, low-fat yogurt. I'm never skipping breakfast. But the more I do this, the bigger my belly gets. My doctor just put me on another medication. What am I missing?" Does that sound familiar? Maybe you've heard the same advice your whole life. Never skip a meal or your metabolism will shut down. Let me say this as clearly as possible. That is one of the biggest health lies of the last 50 years. It's a myth that has left millions of people, especially those of us over 40, over 50, heavier, more tired, and more dependent on medication than ever before. The truth? Your metabolism doesn't slow down because you skip meals. In fact, when you fast, when you intentionally give your body a break from food, your body doesn't shut down at all. It wakes up. Your fat-burning switches flip on. Your cells begin to repair themselves. Inflammation starts to calm down. Your brain gets sharper, and your body finally gets a chance to do what it was designed to do: heal. Here's what nobody told you. The human body was never designed to graze from morning to night. Your ancestors didn't eat 6 times a day. They didn't have pantries full of snacks. They went hours, sometimes days, between meals, and their bodies adapted by getting stronger, sharper, and leaner. That same survival code is still inside of you, and the older you get, the more important it becomes to tap into it. Because after 50, your body is more sensitive. Your hormones shift. Your metabolism changes. Belly fat is no longer just about looks. It's about your heart, your liver, your brain. And that's why fasting, done the right way, can be a game changer. In this video, I'm going to break down the hour-by-hour timeline of what happens inside your body during a 36-hour fast. By the end, you'll see exactly why skipping meals doesn't ruin your metabolism. It rescues it. Does that sound familiar? Maybe you've heard the same advice your whole life. Never skip a meal or your metabolism will shut down. Let me say this as clearly as possible. That is one of the biggest health lies of the last 50 years. In fact, a 2019 review in the New England Journal of Medicine showed that fasting doesn't slow metabolism at all. Instead, it lowers blood sugar, reduces inflammation, and improves heart health. So, let's begin right after your last bite of food. Chapters 0 to 14 hours, from digestion to fat-burning mode. Think back to the last time you enjoyed a big dinner. Maybe it was pasta, bread, a glass of wine, and dessert. Remember how you felt afterward? Heavy, sleepy, maybe ready for the couch and a blanket? That isn't weakness or age catching up with you. That's simply your body working overtime. For the first several hours after a meal, your stomach and small intestine are busy breaking down food, pulling nutrients into your bloodstream and sending them to cells that need them. It's a hard job, and it takes a tremendous amount of energy. That's why so many of us feel sluggish after eating a large meal. For the first 4 to 6 hours, your stomach is emptying. By about 14 hours, though, digestion has run its course. And this is where something remarkable happens. At this stage, insulin, that fat storage hormone, begins to drop. Think of insulin as a gatekeeper. When it's high, your body locks away fat, saving it for later. When it falls, the gates finally open. Your body can reach into its reserves, tapping into the fat stored around your belly, your hips, even your liver. For people over 40, this shift is powerful, because by now, years of frequent snacking and constant eating may have kept insulin chronically high, blocking fat loss. The 14-hour mark is like your body finally exhaling, saying, "Now I can access what's been stored away." Here's a real-world example. A man named Steve, 61, told me he struggled with constant fatigue. He ate breakfast at 7, a mid-morning snack, lunch at noon, another snack in the afternoon, and dinner at 6. He thought he was keeping his metabolism going, but instead, he was riding a roller coaster of insulin spikes all day long. When Steve experimented with simply skipping his evening snack, giving himself about 14 hours between dinner and breakfast, he noticed something. Clearer mornings, less bloating, and even his pants fitting looser within a month. That wasn't magic. That was his body, finally shifting into fat-burning mode. This early phase of fasting also brings another hidden benefit: energy diversion. When you're not using energy to digest food, your body reallocates that power. Blood flow and resources shift toward repair, brain clarity, and cellular cleanup. Many people describe this as the lightness they feel in the morning after not eating since dinner. It's not just in their head, it's their physiology working smarter. And here's the inspiring insight. By doing nothing more than not eating for a stretch of hours, you are already giving your body the chance to heal, to reset, and to burn fat. You don't need expensive supplements, crash diets, or a rigid meal plan. At 14 hours, the work is already happening. That's the beauty of it. Your body knows what to do. You just have to step aside and let it. Now, more fascinating. After the 16-hour mark, your body begins a process that is nothing short of cellular spring cleaning, and that's where we're heading next. By about 14 hours, though, digestion has run its course, and this is where something remarkable happens. At this stage, insulin, that fat storage hormone, begins to drop. Researchers at the University of Alabama 2018 found that after 12 to 14 hours without food, the body starts mobilizing stored fat for energy while improving insulin sensitivity. 14 to 24 hours. Cell cleanup begins. By the time you cross the 14-hour mark and move towards 16, your body makes a powerful shift. At this stage, it's not just about lowering insulin or dipping into fat stores anymore. Something deeper begins. A process called autophagy. The word sounds technical, but the idea is simple. Auto means self, and phagy means eating. So autophagy literally means self-eating. But don't let that sound scary. This is your body's way of cleaning house, recycling damaged parts of your cells and repairing what isn't working properly. It's like sending in a cleanup crew after years of clutter. The best way to picture it is with your refrigerator at home. Imagine you've got old containers of food sitting in the back, long past their expiration date. You keep adding new groceries every week, but you never throw out the spoiled ones. Pretty soon, the fridge starts to smell. The good food gets contaminated, and the whole environment becomes unhealthy. That's exactly what happens inside your body when you constantly eat, snack, and never give your cells a chance to clean up. By fasting for 16 to 24 hours, you're finally giving your body time to toss out the spoiled groceries and refresh the fridge. This is incredibly important for people over 40, because as we age, damaged cells accumulate faster. They're sometimes called zombie cells, cells that don't function well, but refuse to die. They sit there, draining energy, creating inflammation, and in some cases, paving the way for serious illnesses. Autophagy takes those zombie cells and recycles them, turning the junk into raw materials your body can use to build stronger, healthier cells. Take Linda, for example. She's 55, works a desk job, and struggled with brain fog for years. She told me she felt like she was constantly walking around in a haze, forgetting simple things like where she placed her keys or why she walked into a room. When she tried extending her overnight fast to about 18 hours just twice a week, she noticed a remarkable difference. She described it as a mental clearing. What she was feeling was her body cleaning up old, inefficient brain cells and boosting the performance of the healthy ones. That's autophagy in action. And there's more happening here than just spring cleaning. Alongside autophagy, there's mitophagy, the renewal of your mitochondria, the little power plants inside your cells that produce energy. If mitochondria are sluggish, you feel tired, foggy, and slow to recover. But when fasting activates mitophagy, it's like upgrading your old batteries to brand new ones. This is why many people report a noticeable increase in energy and clarity once they pass.
Chance to repair, rejuvenate, and prepare you for the years ahead. Think of it as pressing the reset button on aging at a cellular level. And as powerful as this cleanup phase is, the next milestone takes things even further. Because once you reach the 24-hour mark, your gut and hormones join the party, and the transformation becomes even more exciting. Let's dive into that next. By fasting for 16 to 24 hours, you're finally giving your body time to toss out the spoiled groceries and refresh the fridge. This process, called autophagy, was so groundbreaking that Yoshinori Ohsumi won the Nobel Prize in 2016 for his discoveries showing that after about 16 to 24 hours of fasting, cells switch on this powerful self-cleaning mechanism, slowing aging and reducing disease risk. The 24-hour reset, healing the gut and boosting fat hormones. Now we arrive at the 24-hour mark, and this is where fasting truly begins to feel like a reset button for your entire system. Up until now, your body has been lowering insulin, burning through stored glycogen, and cleaning out damaged cells. But after a full day without food, something remarkable happens inside your gut. Your intestinal stem cells begin to wake up and regenerate. Think of stem cells as your body's master builders. In your digestive tract, they repair and rebuild the lining of your intestines, patching up leaks, reducing inflammation, and restoring balance. If you've ever struggled with bloating, acid reflux, or even more serious conditions like irritable bowel syndrome, this is the moment your body finally starts healing from the inside out. I remember speaking with Diane, a 59-year-old teacher who told me she constantly battled heartburn. She had a bottle of antacids in her purse, on her nightstand, and even in her car. Nothing gave her lasting relief. When she tried her first 24-hour fast, she was nervous. But afterwards, she was stunned. "I didn't just feel lighter," she said. "My stomach felt calmer than it had in years." Over the course of several months, by practicing a 24-hour fast once a week, she noticed her digestion improved so much that she no longer relied on antacids. That wasn't coincidence. That was her intestinal stem cells repairing her gut lining, reducing inflammation, and giving her digestion a new start. But the gut isn't the only part of the body experiencing a renewal at this stage. Around the 24-hour point, your body also releases a powerful surge of human growth hormone, or HGH. You might think of HGH as the body's natural youth hormone. It plays a key role in building and preserving muscle, burning fat, and even keeping your skin and bones strong. Celebrities spend thousands of dollars on injections to get what your body is now producing for free, and without the side effects. The reason your body boosts HGH during a fast is simple. It wants to protect your muscles while you're not eating, so instead of burning precious lean tissue, it shifts more aggressively toward burning fat. This is especially important for those of us over 40 because age naturally lowers HGH levels, making it harder to keep muscle and easier to gain fat. Fasting helps restore what time has taken away. Here's the insight I want you to take away. The 24-hour mark is not a danger zone, it's a healing zone. Your gut is repairing itself. Your hormones are shifting into a fat-burning, muscle-preserving state. And far from weakening you, your body is getting stronger, clearer, and more efficient. By simply stepping aside and letting nature work, you are allowing your body to do exactly what it was designed to do. And yet, as incredible as these benefits are, the fast doesn't stop here. Because as you continue beyond 24 hours, something extraordinary begins to happen in your brain. A surge of clarity, focus, and even protection against aging. Let's take a look at what unfolds around the 30-hour mark. But after a full day without food, something remarkable happens inside your gut. Your intestinal stem cells begin to wake up and regenerate. A study from MIT 2018 showed that a single 24-hour fast can double intestinal stem cell activity, improving gut repair and digestion. But the gut isn't the only part of the body experiencing renewal. Around the 24-hour point, your body also releases a surge of human growth hormone, or HGH. According to the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism, HGH levels rise dramatically during fasting, preserving muscle while accelerating fat burning. Feeling is a good 30 hours. Brain fog lifts and brain cells bloom. As the clock moves past the 30-hour mark, something extraordinary begins to unfold in your brain. Up until now, we've talked about fat burning, cellular cleanup, and hormone surges. But here, your fast delivers a gift that many people over 40 long for: mental clarity. You've probably heard the term brain fog. It's that frustrating feeling of walking into a room and forgetting why you're there, struggling to find the right word mid-sentence, or feeling like your thoughts are moving through molasses. For many, it's become so normal that they assume it's just part of aging. But it doesn't have to be. Around 30 hours into a fast, your body ramps up the production of something called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF. You can think of BDNF as fertilizer for your brain. It helps your brain grow new cells, strengthen the connections between existing ones, and repair areas that have been damaged by stress, aging, or poor lifestyle. In simple terms, fasting flips a switch that tells your brain, it's time to upgrade. I remember a man named Harold, 64 years old, who told me he used to forget names at work and had trouble focusing during meetings. His confidence took a hit because he worried colleagues thought he was slowing down. After trying his first 30-hour fast, he called it a miracle. He described it as though the fog had lifted. Over time, as he practiced fasting, Harold noticed sharper focus, quicker memory recall, and even more creativity. What he was experiencing wasn't magic. It was his brain responding to the surge in BDNF, combined with the fuel of ketones, the clean-burning energy produced from stored fat during fasting. Ketones play a key role here too. Unlike glucose, which often leaves you crashing after a meal, ketones are a stable, efficient fuel for the brain. When your body runs on ketones, you may notice you feel steadier, calmer, and more alert. For people in their 40s, 50s, and beyond, this can feel like regaining a part of yourself that you thought was gone for good. It's almost like trading in an old, sluggish computer for a brand new model that runs smoother and faster. That's the power of BDNF combined with ketones. The insight I want you to remember is this: your brain is not doomed to decline with age. By giving it the right environment, less constant food, more fasting, you're essentially telling your brain to regenerate, to grow stronger rather than weaker. For those worried about dementia, Parkinson's, or Alzheimer's, fasting isn't a cure, but it is one of the simplest, most natural ways to protect your brain health for the long run. And as inspiring as sharper focus and better memory may sound, the benefits don't stop here. Because as you move closer to the 36-hour mark, your body shifts into full fat-burning mode, unlocking one of the most powerful phases of the fast, or stubborn belly. Fat finally becomes fuel. Let's explore what happens next. Around 30 hours into a fast, your body ramps up the production of something called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF. Studies published in Nature Reviews Neuroscience, 2017, show that fasting stimulates BDNF, which strengthens brain connections, grows new neurons, and protects against age-related cognitive decline. 36-hour sweet spot. Fat-burning mode activated. By the time you reach the 36-hour mark, your body has crossed into a truly transformative phase. If the first 14 hours lowered insulin and the next 24 hours cleaned up damaged cells, this point is where the real fat-burning magic happens. At this stage, your glycogen stores, the sugar reserves tucked away in your liver and muscles, are almost completely depleted. With the sugar tank running low, your body has no choice but to switch fully into fat-burning mode. It begins pulling fatty acids out of your fat cells, especially that stubborn belly fat that so many of us over 40 struggle with, and it converts those fats into ketones. These ketones are then sent to your brain, your muscles, and your heart as a clean, powerful source of energy. What makes ketones so unique is that they don't just provide fuel. They actually act as messengers, signaling your mitochondria,
the tiny power plants inside every cell to ramp up energy production. Studies show mitochondria can produce up to 4 times more energy in this state. That's why many people report feeling not just lighter at this stage, but sharper, stronger, even more alive. It's like your body takes off the training wheels and shows you what it's capable of without constant snacking and sugar dependency. Take Susan, for example. She's 54, and she told me no matter how much she cut calories, she couldn't shrink her waistline. She felt discouraged, thinking maybe her age just made fat loss impossible. When she tried her first 36-hour fast, she admitted the first day wasn't easy. But by the second morning, she described feeling like my body had flipped a switch. Over the next few months, as she practiced these longer fasts periodically, she not only dropped inches around her waist, but also noticed her joints ached less and her energy lasted all day. That wasn't willpower, that was her body finally tapping into fat oxidation and lowering inflammation, both of which peak at this sweet spot. And this brings us to another overlooked benefit of the 36-hour fast: inflammation reduction. At this stage, ketones help lower markers of chronic inflammation, the very kind linked to arthritis, heart disease, and accelerated aging. This is why many people notice less joint pain, clearer skin, or even improved recovery after workouts once they reach this phase. For people over 40, inflammation is often the hidden force keeping us tired, stiff, and stuck. Fasting at 36 hours gives your body a natural anti-inflammatory reset. The key insight here is this: when you've been battling stubborn belly fat, fatigue, or inflammation for years, it's not that your body is broken. It's that it's been locked in storage mode, flooded with insulin, and trapped in sugar burning. The 36-hour fast finally unlocks the door, allowing your body to reach the energy reserves it was designed to use all along. And while this is the sweet spot, many questions always follow. Can I drink coffee during this? Will I lose muscle? How often should I even do a 36-hour fast? Those are the very questions we'll answer next, so you know exactly how to apply this powerful tool in your own life. It begins pulling fatty acids out of your fat cells, especially that stubborn belly fat that so many of us over 40 struggle with, and it converts those fats into ketones. According to research in Cell Metabolism 2019, after about 36 hours, the body enters deep ketosis, producing ketones that not only fuel the brain and muscles, but also act as powerful anti-inflammatory molecules. FAQs that matter most after 40. By now, you've seen the incredible changes that happen inside your body during a 36-hour fast. But if you're like most people I talk to, you probably still have a few lingering questions, and that's perfectly normal. Let's address some of the most common concerns, especially for those of us over 40, so you can approach fasting with both confidence and safety. The first question I hear all the time is, can I drink coffee or tea while fasting? The short answer is yes, as long as they're plain and unsweetened. A black coffee or a simple herbal tea won't break your fast. But here's the catch. For some people, coffee can cause a small blood sugar spike. If you notice you feel jittery, anxious, or unusually hungry afterward, it may be your body responding to caffeine. One of my patients, Tom, 63, discovered this the hard way. He loved his morning coffee, but during a fast it made him crash. When he switched to herbal tea, the problem disappeared and his fasts felt much smoother. The lesson? Pay attention to how your body responds and adjust accordingly. Another common worry is, will I lose muscle? This is such an important question, especially for those in their 50s and 60s who are already concerned about age-related muscle loss. The reassuring truth is that your body is very smart. During fasting, it releases human growth hormone, which actually protects your muscles while encouraging your body to burn fat instead. Unless you are severely undernourished or already very frail, a 36-hour fast is not going to melt away your muscle. In fact, many people combine fasting with light strength training and find they feel stronger, not weaker. Then comes the question, is fasting safe for women, especially after menopause? The answer depends on timing and context. For women with regular cycles, it's best to avoid long fasts in the week before your period, since your body needs extra fuel to balance hormones during that time. But during the bleeding week or after menopause, fasting can be very beneficial, especially when stress and sleep are well managed. I often remind women like Mary, a 58-year-old grandmother who struggled with hot flashes and weight gain, that fasting is not about deprivation. It's about giving the body space to recalibrate. After practicing monthly 36-hour fasts, she found her hot flashes calmed and her weight finally started to shift. People also ask, can I exercise during a 36-hour fast? The safest answer is light movement only. A walk around the neighborhood, some stretching, or gentle yoga can complement the fasting process by improving circulation and fat burning. But this is not the time for high-intensity workouts. Remember, your body is channeling energy into repair, not performance. Pushing too hard could leave you feeling depleted instead of refreshed. And finally, how often should I do a 36-hour fast? For most people over 40, once a month is a good place to start. If you're overweight, dealing with fatty liver, or struggling with metabolic syndrome, you might do it more often, perhaps every 2 weeks, but always under the guidance of your healthcare provider. The goal isn't to fast as much as possible, it's to create a rhythm that feels sustainable, where fasting becomes a gentle reset rather than a constant challenge. Here's the takeaway. Fasting is not one size fits all. The beauty of this practice is that you can adapt it to your needs, your lifestyle, and your body's signals. Listen to yourself, make adjustments, and remember that progress comes not from perfection, but from consistency. Now that we've cleared up the most common questions, let's bring all of this together. Because fasting isn't just about skipping food, it's about rediscovering what your body is truly capable of. And that's where our final lesson comes in. Another common worry is, will I lose muscle? This is such an important question. But research in Obesity Reviews 2021 found that intermittent fasting does not cause significant muscle loss in healthy adults, largely because fasting naturally increases growth hormone, which protects lean tissue.
You're not broken. You've just been fed too often.
After walking through the entire 36-hour journey, there's one truth I want to leave with you. Most people who come to me in their 50s or 60s feel discouraged. They've tried diet after diet, counted calories, joined gyms, even taken medications, and still, the belly fat sticks, the energy drops, and the frustration grows. Many of them whisper the same fear. Maybe my body is just broken. But here's what I want you to know. You are not broken. Your body hasn't failed you. It has simply been overfed and overstimulated for far too long. For decades, we were told to eat 6 times a day, to never skip breakfast, to snack to keep the metabolism going. But what that really did was keep insulin high all day, trapping fat in storage and never giving our cells the break they desperately needed. Imagine running your dishwasher non-stop, loading it again and again without ever letting it finish a cycle. Of course it would clog, wear down, and eventually stop working. That's what constant eating has done to our bodies. Fasting is simply pressing the pause button and allowing the cycle to complete. I think of Paul, a 67-year-old retiree who had nearly given up. He was on blood pressure medication, cholesterol medication, and his doctor warned him he was pre-diabetic. Paul told me, "I thought my metabolism was dead." When he learned about fasting, he approached it with skepticism, but gave it a try. Within 3 months of practicing a 36-hour fast once a month, along with shorter fasts weekly, he lost 20 pounds, reduced his waistline by 4 inches, and most importantly, his doctor began lowering his medications. His words to me were powerful. I realized my body wasn't broken. It just needed me to stop getting in the way. That's the real lesson here. Your body is designed with incredible intelligence. It knows how to heal. It knows how to burn fat. It knows how to restore energy and clarity. But it can't do those things if it's constantly processing food. By fasting, you're not punishing your body, you're giving it the freedom to do what it was built to do. So the next time you feel discouraged or you look in the mirror and wonder if it's too late, remember this: age is not your enemy. Overfeeding is. And the simple act of stepping back, of giving your body time without food, can unlock healing you thought was out of reach. And this is only the beginning. Because now that you understand how fasting works, the next step is learning how to break your fast wisely. So you don't just lose fat, but also rebuild strength, energy, and health. That's what we'll explore in our next lesson together. Fasting is simply pressing the pause button and allowing the cycle to complete. And large-scale analyses such as diabetes risk, proving your body isn't broken, it's simply been given too much food for too long. Thanks for watching. Remember, your health is your greatest asset. If you found this video helpful, give it a like, share it with someone who might need it. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We'll keep bringing you clear, science-backed information on obesity, weight control, and living your healthiest life, so you can take charge of your future, starting today.